Hi guys, I'm back here with another easy tutorial that you can do in Lightroom, and this is for you if you want to retouch a portrait or a photo with a human subject in it that you want to have a more pleasant skin texture to look at. So let's jump into Lightroom and I will show you how you can do this. So a month ago, I was out at the beach shooting some portraits with this beautiful girl, Oxay. We had a great time and ended up with a lot of photos. So today I'm going to show you how you can dodge and burn in Lightroom without using a created tablet and without using Photoshop. And if you don't know, dodge and burn is a fancy way of retouching photos, so you can even out skin issues and make the subject a bit more pleasant to look at. So for the best results, I would recommend using a created tablet and using Photoshop, so you can use the pressure of the tablet. But this here in Lightroom is to show you that it is possible to get some great retouching results in Lightroom that you can use just with a mouse. Just be aware that doing it this way is a semi-destructive way. If you overdo this, it is not that easy to correct or go back, and you might have to start over. But fear not, after some practice, this becomes nature to you, I'm sure. And the key point here is try not to overdo anything, then you will be safe. So if you don't know, dodge and burn is basically just darkening and lightening the parts of the skin that are too bright or too dark. So we are going to darken some areas that are too bright, and we are going to lighten some areas that are too dark. This will make Oxay's skin more even and pleasing to look at. Of course, you need to be aware that some shadows might need to be there because shadows are a natural thing, and they also helps to create depth on her face and structure. Anyway, the first thing you need to do when you are retouching a photo, and this doesn't matter if you're using Lightroom or Photoshop, is to clean up the photo by using the heal brush tool. And you can do this here in Lightroom by clicking the heal brush up here. And to me, the key is not to use 100% opacity, because if you have a more opaque heal brush, it will not totally replace the skin texture. And I think this leaves a more natural look that I like, at least. So my go-to settings are usually 57 on feather and also 57 on opacity. So you simply go through the whole of the image and click on all the bumps and imperfections you want to remove. And if it doesn't go away the first time because of the flow being a little low, you can always click again and this will take care of the spot. And if you need to hide the indicators, you can just press H on your keyboard, so you don't get these indicators that are showing you where you have to use the brush. Anyway, I will speed up this process a bit because it can take some time depending on your image. What we want to do is to remove the big spots and imperfection, not the dark pigments in the skin, because we will clean these with the dodge tool. So I do not recommend zooming too close to the subject because this will make you overdo this or any retouch process that you are doing. So try to stay zoomed out a bit. Of course, you need to be close enough to see what you're doing, but don't go too close. So if you need to adjust the size of the brush, I just use the mouse wheel to do this. This is really easy and fast. So you don't want to remove the birthmarks or any parts of the face that are permanent unless the subject wants you to do this, because these are unique signs that make up this person and who they are. So you don't want to remove those. Also here I could have removed the sand in the eyebrows, but I kind of like it. Hence we were on the beach. I think this is it for now. So we will stop the healing process and then we will go on to the dodge and burn process. So I always start dodging or lighten because I found this to be easiest and also the thing that you mostly need to do the most. So to help us a bit to see what we need to make brighter and darker, I have this little trick we can use, and what we will just do is to turn the photo into black and white, which will make it easier for us to spot the light and the dark parts of the image. So to do this, just click here on black and white at the top, and then the photo will be black and white, and we can just click color afterwards if we want it to go back to the color grade. Then we need to select the brush, because that is the way we're going to lighten and darken the parts of the face. And what you have to do is to push the exposure really high. Then for the settings, which is really important, it is that you need to have a really high feather and a really low flow. And I actually think that 6 here on the flow is too high for me, so I will turn it down just a bit. So what there is to do now is actually quite simple. You just need to paint on the dark spots of the skin to lighten them. So I will click and paint and just keep doing this until I think that the dark parts are more even with the rest of the skin. So you can already see the difference here, but I will speed up the next part just a bit. So we also need to burn or darken some parts. To do this we need a new brush. So we have to pick new here at the brush. And this time we have to change the exposure to a minus value. And the procedure afterwards is more or less the same as before, except now we paint on the parts that are too bright. When you come to a point where you think it is enough, what I recommend you do is to dial down a bit your sliders. You can do this by changing the slider of the brush when highlighted, or you can hold Alt and drag on the marker here, and if you go to the right it will increase the value, and if you go to the left it will decrease the value. So I will just do this a tiny bit to make the look a bit more natural. What I like to do also is to add some smoothing to the skin. I think this is a standard brush in Lightroom, so I will pick the light version here, which basically just dials down the texture and clarity a bit. Then I will go to my settings of the brush, and I will pick my A brush, which is a different kind of setting. So the flow will be higher now, and I will just paint on the parts of the face that I want to be more smooth. If you want to, you can also dial up or down the sliders here if you want a more or less natural or smooth look. You can also do the smoothing part before you start touching and burning. It might be easier for you, so you can try that out if you want to, but the settings and the procedure is still all the same as I have gone through here. So this is it, we just retouched the face by only using Lightroom and no Photoshop and no creative tablet. If you look at the before and after, you can really see a big difference here, and this is really amazing, I think. And just to be clear, this took me around 30 minutes or so to do. So I think that would be nice for you to know if you are going to use this method. Anyway, thanks for watching this video. I hope you found what you were looking for here on YouTube. If you found this to be useful in any way, or if you learned anything, please make sure to subscribe to this channel and leave a comment. It doesn't cost you anything, but yeah, it helps me a great deal. So I would really appreciate that. Anyway, all that is left for me to say now is take care and enjoy your day, and I will see you around. Ciao!